And I'm excited to introduce you to Brandon Bordenkircher. I hope I've pronounced your name correctly, Brandon. I had the opportunity to meet him a couple of weeks ago near the Madison B-Cycle office and get a very cool demo of one of their vehicles and hear a little bit about what they were doing. And I thought that this group would be very interested in hearing more. So Brandon is coming to us live from Chicago today. Or are you on the road? Okay, great.
Chicago.
Well, wonderful. Awesome. Good to hear. And thank you so much for joining us. We're excited to hear more of what you have to share. Welcome, Brandon.
Excellent. Thanks for having me, folks. I'll do a quick introduction on me and my background. I'm Brandon Bordenkircher, COO for Innova EV, an electric vehicle car sharing company. My background is in tech policy. I spent about 3 years on Airbnb's public policy team, helping to pass positive home sharing legislation across the US. From there, I got bored, started writing some white papers on new disruptive mobility. Those papers came across the desk of the folks at Daimler, the parent company for Mercedes-Benz, and they tapped me to be their general manager for their car sharing service here in Chicago, where I managed about $11 million worth of assets. And that's where I met the CEO for Innova EV, found out about the interesting things they were working on, and I basically pestered the CEO until he hired me, and here I am. So pleasure to be here. Pleasure seeing some of you folks again. Let's see, I'm going to share my screen. Oh, looks like I can't share my screen.
I think you're good now.
Gotcha. Let me try. There we go. Excellent. Can everybody see that?
You can.
Yes, thank you.
So as I'm sure most of you know, shared micromobility is building momentum. Car sharing, bike sharing, scooter sharing, everybody's heard about it by this point. But there are gaps with the current solutions. Ride hailing, you have surge pricing. There are environmental concerns pertaining to greenhouse gases. And then bike sharing, there are street safety issues. They're not really applicable for all weather and all types of errands that folks might be wanting to run. And scooter sharing has some of those same issues as well. So we are here, Innova EV is here to kind of fill in some of those gaps. So we have a comparable cost to the other options out there. It's $1 to unlock our vehicle and about 29 cents per minute to use after that. Safe for all weather conditions, fully enclosed, heat and air conditioning, and zero emissions. In addition to that, these are low-speed street legal vehicles. They go up to 35 miles an hour. Any faster than that, and obviously, it puts cyclists, pedestrians, scooter users, in danger. In addition to that, our vehicles are smaller and lighter weight than most of the other vehicles that are on the road, the SUVs that are barreling down the streets, etc. There's trunk space for groceries, and there's also the option to wrap our vehicle, sponsor options. So we typically work with sponsors. For example, MG&E is someone we're going to be partnering with in Madison. We wrap our vehicles with sponsor advertising as well as do in-app advertising and in-vehicle advertising. So a little bit about our service. As I mentioned, it's a low-speed street legal vehicle, goes up to 35 miles an hour. The dash is built here in the US. It's made for 2 passengers and has the potential to reduce traffic, reduce carbon emissions, and improve personal mobility. We've operated on quite a few campuses since 2014, including the University of Wisconsin-Madison, Colorado State, University of Washington, University of Pittsburgh, Ohio State University, where we did an autonomous vehicle pilot, as well as on the south side of Chicago, where we did a pilot that focused on equity and offering affordable rides to senior citizens. So where we fit in the mobility space is kind of somewhere in between the zip cars of the world, which are point A to point A. You have to reserve your time. It's very boxy and can be expensive. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you have the B cycles and the shared scooters and things like that, which are on demand, very affordable. But obviously, if you're looking to carry a lot of cargo or it's extremely cold out, those are not the best options. I'm on a call. I'll be with you in a minute. Sorry, my kids are both coming to me. So that's kind of where we fit. That's where we fit in the mobility space. So like B-Cycle, we are a corral-based model. So you can start at point A and end at B, C, D, or E, which we are working with the city of Madison on about, I think, 8 different parking locations, which when I'm done speaking, I'll post those locations in the chat so you can see what those are. Universities and cities really seem to like us because it comes at zero cost to them. So we pay for the parking spaces, we pay for the charging infrastructure, we pay for the electricity, and we pay for obviously the vehicles, the maintenance, rebalancing, all of that. So yeah, folks are usually pretty open to us, especially since we are solving for some pretty big issues that they are looking to solve. Those issues are, one, climate action plan goals. Since we are offering an affordable zero emission first and last mile option, and each of our vehicles has the potential to replace up to 15 privately owned vehicles, which results in fewer vehicles on the road, less VMT, reduced carbon emissions, et cetera. So it's a win for cities and universities. Next is the Vision Zero safety goals. So it's with fewer vehicles on the road. That means it's safer for cyclists, pedestrians, et cetera. And as I mentioned prior, our vehicles only go up to 35 miles an hour, which makes it safer for those folks as well. As I mentioned prior, also our vehicles are much lighter and smaller than most of the other vehicles that are out there. So those are the two main goals we seek to solve. The next is the equity component. So because our business model relies on sponsorship, we are basically able to subsidize the cost of our rides. $1 to unlock our vehicle, and then 29 cents per minute to use after that. Because of that, we were able to launch a pilot on the south side of Chicago where we served seniors, helped them get to the grocery store, the doctor, the pharmacy, et cetera, where it would have taken them about an hour to get to the doctor and an hour back. We cut it down to 10 minutes there, 10 minutes back, which is, big deal when you are a person in your 80s and it's below zero or snowing or icy. So those are the 3 main goals we are seeking to solve. And then the last bit of it is the mobility data and insights. So each of our vehicles is equipped with up to 50 sensors, and we're pulling in data from around the vehicle as well as inside the vehicle itself. And what we do is we We don't just look to launch in a city or at a university. We seek to partner with the city and the university, share our data, and do basically research projects to help build knowledge, to help cities and universities understand how people are living and getting around in their area, so they can make informed decisions on mobility. So it's really simple to use. Like everything else in this world, it's an app. You download the app, you pick up a vehicle at the nearest dash location, you take your ride, and then you return it to any of the hubs or corrals that we have in the area. And then all you really do is you download the Dash app. You need a driver's license, credit card, and you'll need to take a picture of yourself as well. You'll need to take a selfie. It takes about 1 to 2 days to verify you are who you say you are, and for us to do a background check on your driving record. And then once you're verified, you find the nearest vehicle, unplug it from the charger, unlock the doors via the app, hop in, drive around, and then when you're done, park it and then plug it back in. We typically launch with about 4 to 6 square mile geofenced area, and then as we see utilization rise and more people understanding how to use our service, then we would expand the geofenced area as well as do a fleet phasing strategy. So increase the number of dash vehicles in the area, et cetera. So here's where we've operated before. And here's where we're looking to launch in this year and the coming year. And I can send you this. Actually, I believe I put this in the this presentation in the chat. So if you folks want to check it out for yourself, there's a bunch of press here that you can take a peek at. And that's it. So I'll stop talking, and you guys, if you folks have any questions, happy to answer any questions you may have.
Awesome. Thank you. And thanks for moving through quickly. We still have 5 minutes left, and I do want to keep it open if people have a lot of questions too. I know we got a bit of a later start on the presentation. So let's open it up for questions and discussion from the group.
I'll ask the first question. When, this is really exciting. Thank you, Brandon, for being here. It was great chatting with you a couple of weeks ago. When are you hoping to launch here in Madison? I see you have all the different lots in the city areas. What's the time frame?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're hoping to launch fingers crossed early fall. We're still working with the parking department at the city to get the leases for those parking spots. So hopefully early fall, if not that, then late fall, knock on wood.
I'll ask another question then. What are ways that we can all help, make sure that this is successful and become part of the larger, sort of multimodal transit infrastructure here in downtown?
Yeah, that is a great question. So we're currently working with B-Cycle. We're working with MG&E. We're really, the biggest help or the biggest lift that I could use help with would be introductions to any folks you think might be interested in sponsorship or interested in piloting, using our vehicles to pilot some sort of pilot to help the city or a neighborhood. We're currently in the process, or we're talking with a pizza company there in Madison on doing a potential delivery pilot with them But any introductions to, or any ideas of potential sponsors would be a big help. Or if folks think there are certain neighborhoods in Madison that might be a transit desert that could use our service, would love to know where anyone thinks there are, holes in the current transportation that is offered by the city, or folks who are kind of lacking cars and lacking bus transportation, et cetera, in the city. So any insights or any ideas pertaining to sponsorship would be a great help. And just, would love to speak with folks one-on-one to find out more about what you're working on, to see if there's a way we can be helpful to you. So I hope I didn't ramble too much there. I'm going to stop talking now.
Really good questions. Yeah, you had another one.
Yeah, I just put a quick clarification in the chat too about the max speed of the vehicles, because there were two different speeds on the slides, but it's 35 miles per hour, right?
Correct. 35.
Yeah.
miles.
Okay. And then I just at the last meeting that we were at where you presented, someone had asked the question about whether you guys can install these cars on surface lots where there might not be conduit as readily available as in a garage. So could you talk a little bit about that? Because I thought that was really interesting to hear.
Yeah, that's thank you for asking that, Zia. So we have two options when launching in a city. So we can do the grid-tied chargers, which are typically done in garages. We typically tack on to the existing charging infrastructure, which is fairly easy to do as long as the garage has the appropriate or the efficient amount of electricity. And the other option is pertaining to surface lots. So surface lots, it can be a little trickier to put grid-tied charging there. So what we use is we utilize one of our partners who is called Beam Charging, which is a big solar canopy here, and then you have this bottom part here, and you can basically drop the beam in anywhere. There's no drilling or trenching needed as long as there is an ample amount of sun in that specific surface lot. We're able to just drop it in and go from there. And the great thing about that option is if we find out, utilization is not what we hoped it would be in that area, we have the ability to pick it up and move that beam solar charger to another surface lot. So those are the two options.
Great, thank you. Kendall.
Yeah, quick question on your launch for the city of Madison. How many vehicles are you talking? What's the order of magnitude there?
Yeah, we are looking to start with 10 vehicles, and we'll do a fleet phasing strategy where we work with the city, work with the university to make sure they're being utilized enough, and hope to expand outside of our original geofenced area. So starting with 10 and then potentially go up to 20 vehicles, maybe 30 vehicles. It depends on the city or the university. For example, UCSD, when we spoke to them, we asked them how many vehicles they thought would be a good number to start with, and they said 60. So that's not typically how it goes, but those folks know what they want and what they need. So it differs from city to city, but I think starting with 10 vehicles, 10 dash vehicles, and maybe doing a fleet phasing strategy from 10 to 15 to 20 would be a good idea. But yeah, it all depends. We look to our partners to help us decide what the best way to move forward would be.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead,
Oh,
Chris.
yeah, since people are still hanging around, feel free to answer this or not. I'm curious, since you mentioned you're talking to B-Cycle, I'm wondering what you think your relationship to like Zipcar is, because obviously you're sort of a competitor, but there's a lot of synergies because they're very different services.
Yeah, yeah. So when people ask me, who is your biggest competitor? You know, people always jump straight to, oh, it's going to be the B-Cycles of the world, or Zipcar, or, you know, Uber or Lyft. Our biggest competitor is privately owned vehicles. So that is our biggest competitor. We are really looking to partner with folks like B-Cycle, with like the folks at Zipcar, to make sure that people don't have to use their privately owned vehicles. They can utilize Zipcar if they're looking to do a longer trip out of town, or they can use B-Cycle when B-Cycle is available. I know they shut down for about 2 to 3 months out of the year. And if they need us to run to the store to get some groceries or run a quick errand, or they don't feel like, freezing while walking across town to get to their destination in the winter season, they can utilize us. So we are really here just to fill those certain gaps. I think Zipcar has certain things that they do well. B-Cycle is fantastic. I use Divvy here in Chicago, which is our B-Cycle. I use it every day. And, you know, even Uber and Lyft have their place as well. But we are here to really, supplement the buses, the city buses, the city trains, just transit in general, and, cycling and all the other options. We're just here to supplement all that. So that's how we see ourselves fitting in.
Thanks. That's what I was thinking too.
Great. Great minds think alike.
And I don't want to speak for Helen, but I know there have been conversations too about, again, thinking about the complementary nature of things, of could these vehicles be used by B-Cycle staff to, reduce the amount of their vehicles running around town, and for battery swaps and things like that. And that led to a question for me, Brandon, if you could speak a little bit to how much of your business would you see being in that like true individual shared kind of function versus more of a fleet function, like with B-Cycle or a pizza delivery company?
Yeah, we are focusing mainly on the personal mobility, and the fleet option is just an added bonus, I guess. So that is how we see ourselves. And in addition to that, we hope to utilize for example, our solar charging capabilities for. We'd love to see B-Cycles, electric bikes, utilizing our beam chargers, our solar chargers, which is something I believe the city of Chicago is, they are allowing the e-scooters here to be plugged into or docked at our docking stations here. We would love to see more collaboration in that world, in Madison and the other cities across the US. The more folks who are utilizing services like B-Cycle, et cetera, the better. So however we can, help what they are working on, the better. But so far, the folks at B-Cycle have been great. So we look forward to seeing how else we can work together with them.
Great, thank you. Other questions for Brandon? Okay, well, thanks for those who could stick around. To wrap up, I put this in the chat as well, but next meeting is June 10th, and we will talk passenger trains with Philip Gritzmacher. And then also DMI has their What's Up Downtown hybrid breakfast coming up on May 26th with Madison Police Department Chief Sean Barnes. Anything else I missed, DMI team, in terms of upcoming events?
No, just a note on Philip Grutzmacher. We had talked about the RFQ that had gone out for the station placement RFP. HNTB did win that contract, so we'll be inviting them as well on next month, a month from now. So
Great.
when Philip.
Oh, fantastic.
There's
Okay,
also a member
great.
meetup
Well-
lunch today if anyone wants to come. Downtown, picnic on the lawn, 12 p.m. It's on our details on our website.
Awesome. Perfect day for it. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you to Brandon for the great presentation. Thank you everyone for joining and for sticking around a little bit longer. Enjoy the beautiful weekend ahead, and thank you. We'll see you next time.